Welcome back to the Science of Happiness series, where we dive into the latest research on happiness and well-being. Today is our second episode, and we're going to focus on the biology of happiness. How do our brain and body influence our emotional state? And what can we do to cultivate more happiness in our lives? Let's find out. In this episode, we'll be exploring the biology of happiness, starting with the neuroscience of happiness. Our brain plays a critical role in how we experience emotions and happiness. When we experience something pleasurable, such as eating a delicious meal or receiving a compliment, our brain releases a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical because it's associated with feelings of reward and motivation. One of the primary neurotransmitters involved in happiness is dopamine. When dopamine is released, it reinforces that behavior and makes us more likely to seek out that experience again in the future. Another neurotransmitter that's important for happiness is serotonin. Serotonin helps regulate mood and social behavior, and low levels of serotonin have been linked to depression and anxiety. Our brain produces serotonin when we engage in social activities, such as spending time with friends or family, or when we engage in acts of kindness or generosity. Finally, the hormone oxytocin is often called the love hormone because it's released during social bonding and physical touch. Oxytocin is associated with feelings of trust, empathy, and connection. Our brain releases oxytocin when we engage in social bonding activities, such as spending time with loved ones or engaging in physical touch. Research has shown that certain areas of the brain are more active when we experience happiness. For example, the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in decision-making and problem-solving, becomes more active when we're happy. Additionally, the amygdala, which is involved in processing emotions, also plays a role in happiness. While the neuroscience of happiness is complex, researchers have identified several key factors that contribute to happiness. These include social connections, meaningful work, physical health, and a sense of purpose or meaning in life. When we engage in activities that contribute to these factors, our brain releases dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which reinforces our behaviors and creates feelings of happiness and well-being. In conclusion, the neuroscience of happiness is an exciting field of research that has helped shed light on the complex processes that create this emotion. Understanding the role of neurotransmitters, brain regions, and environmental factors can help us cultivate more happiness in our lives and improve our overall well-being. Now that we have a better understanding of the biology of happiness, let's shift our focus to the impact of stress on our happiness. Stress is a normal part of life, and in small doses, it can even be helpful. But chronic stress can have a negative impact on our overall well-being, including our happiness. When we experience stress, our body goes into fight or flight mode, releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. While these hormones can be helpful in the short term, prolonged exposure to stress can lead to a range of health problems, both physical and mental. One way that stress can impact happiness is by causing negative emotions like anxiety and depression. Chronic stress can also affect the brain's reward system, leading to decreased dopamine release and a decreased ability to feel pleasure. This can make it difficult to experience happiness even in situations that would normally bring us joy. Stress can also impact our relationships, which are a key component of happiness. When we're stressed, we may be more irritable and less patient with our loved ones, leading to conflict and strain in our relationships. This can further exacerbate feelings of stress and unhappiness. Furthermore, stress can also impact our physical health, which in turn can impact our happiness. Chronic stress has been linked to a range of health problems, including heart disease, digestive issues, and weakened immune systems. These health problems can further increase our stress levels, creating a vicious cycle that can be difficult to break. So, what can we do to manage stress and improve our happiness? One important step is to practice stress-reducing activities like meditation, exercise, and mindfulness. These activities can help to reduce the release of stress hormones like cortisol and can promote feelings of relaxation and calm. Another important step is to cultivate positive relationships and social connections. Spending time with loved ones and engaging in social activities can help to reduce feelings of stress and improve our overall well-being. Additionally, having a sense of purpose or meaning in life can also help to buffer the negative effects of stress and promote happiness. In conclusion, while stress is a normal part of life, chronic stress can have a negative impact on our overall well-being, including our happiness. By practicing stress-reducing activities and cultivating positive relationships and social connections, we can manage stress and promote greater happiness in our lives. Now that we've discussed the neuroscience of happiness and the impact of stress, let's delve into the role that genetics plays in our happiness. While our environment and experiences play a significant role in our happiness, genetics also play a part. Research has shown that some people are genetically predisposed to be happier than others. For example, studies of twins have shown that genetic factors account for up to 50% of the variation in happiness levels among individuals. One of the genes that has been linked to happiness is the serotonin transporter gene. This gene is responsible for producing a protein that regulates the amount of serotonin that's available in the brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that plays a critical role in regulating mood, sleep, appetite, and other bodily functions. Research has found that individuals with a genetic variation in the serotonin transporter gene may have lower levels of serotonin in the brain, which can lead to a greater risk of depression and other mood disorders. However, it's important to note that having this genetic variation doesn't necessarily mean that an individual will experience depression or other mood disorders. In addition to the serotonin transporter gene, other genes have also been linked to happiness. For example, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals with a genetic variation that's associated with higher levels of dopamine receptors in the brain tend to experience more positive emotions. While genetics can play a role in our happiness, it's important to note that our genes don't determine our happiness entirely. While we may have a genetic predisposition, there are still things we can do to cultivate more happiness in our lives. For example, research has shown that our environment and experiences can influence the expression of certain genes related to happiness. Therefore, by engaging in activities that promote happiness and well-being, we can actually change the way our genes are expressed. Overall, while genetics can play a role in our happiness, it's only one piece of the puzzle. Our environment, experiences, and behaviors also play a significant role in shaping our happiness levels. By understanding the interplay between genetics and happiness, we can gain a better understanding of why some people may be happier than others and how we can cultivate more happiness in our own lives. While there are many factors that contribute to happiness, there are also practical steps we can take to cultivate more happiness in our lives. Here are some tips. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for. This can be as simple as writing down 3 things you're thankful for each day. Engage in activities that bring you joy, whether it's reading, cooking, or spending time in nature. Make time for activities that bring you pleasure. Build strong social connections. Cultivate positive relationships with friends, family, and coworkers. Spending time with others and engaging in social activities can boost happiness. Practice mindfulness. Take time each day to practice mindfulness, which involves being present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Set goals and work towards them. Having a sense of purpose and working towards goals can contribute to feelings of accomplishment and happiness. Prioritize self-care. Take care of your physical and emotional health by getting enough sleep, eating well, and engaging in regular exercise. Give back. Engage in acts of kindness and generosity towards others. Studies have shown that helping others can boost happiness levels. By incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we can cultivate more happiness and well-being. It's important to remember that happiness is not a destination, but rather a journey. It's something that requires ongoing effort and attention, but the rewards are well worth it. In conclusion, there are many practical steps we can take to cultivate happiness in our lives. By practicing gratitude, engaging in activities that bring us joy, building strong social connections, practicing mindfulness, setting goals, prioritizing self-care, and giving back, we can increase our overall sense of well-being and lead happier lives. In conclusion, the biology of happiness is a complex and multifaceted topic that involves the brain, hormones, and neurotransmitters. While happiness is influenced by genetics and life circumstances, there are also practical steps we can take to cultivate more happiness in our lives. By understanding the neuroscience of happiness and its impact on our well-being, we can make informed choices about how we live our lives and pursue greater happiness. It's important to remember that happiness is not a destination, but rather a journey. It's something that requires ongoing effort and attention, but the rewards are well worth it. By prioritizing our physical and emotional health, building strong social connections, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and practicing gratitude and mindfulness, we can increase our overall sense of well-being and lead happier lives. So, let's take the time to appreciate the small moments of joy in our lives, prioritize our happiness and well-being, and continue to learn and grow in our pursuit of happiness. Remember, we have the power to shape our own happiness, and it all starts with understanding the biology of happiness and taking practical steps towards cultivating more joy in our lives. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. If you're looking for even more exclusive content, consider joining our Patreon community. You can find the link to our Patreon in the description box below. And if you're interested in free online courses, we've got you covered there too. We offer a variety of certified courses on psychology and personal development, all are completely free. Just click the link in the description box to check them out. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, leave them in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers and we're always looking for ways to improve. Thank you to follow us on social media for even more updates and content. You can find all our links in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.